before we get into the roles in the church, I just wanted to talk about what the church is actually called to do.
Okay. So, so I looked up on the website. It's called gotquestions.org. It's a good website.
It's a good website.
And so it pointed out some things that I think are essential to what a church does. The first was communion. And they talked about how communion was observed in Acts chapter 20.
Okay.
So communion, the gathering of the saints, and doing what Jesus said to do.
Okay.
You know, the body broken and the blood shed. Doing that as often as you meet. You know, I think that's essential and important. Prayers were offered up. 1 Corinthians chapter 14. When they got together, they prayed together. You know, they also sang songs together. We see that in Ephesians chapter 5.
Right.
Also, a collection was taken in 1 Corinthians chapter 16, you know, to help the needs of one another.
Right.
The scriptures were read openly in Colossians chapter 4.
Right.
And then the word of God was proclaimed in Acts chapter 20.
Okay.
So those things, I think, are vital to the weekly gathering of the saints, and we do that together. The other thing, too, is having elders and deacons, which we clearly see are offices in the church.
For sure.
You know?
For sure.
And that brings even the membership piece to it, too. We didn't talk about this, but I think, you know, that's also important, is church membership, you know, being members of one another. So, yeah, I would say those things are important. Yeah.
For sure. Because we did talk about this a little bit. In the book of Acts, we actually get to see what the church did when it, you know, concerning their behavior and their actions. So we get a nice snapshot of what the church looked like. I don't know if we get a big picture of what they were doing in the community, but we do get a good picture of how they were within, you know, amongst each other in the church.
Yeah.
And that actually brings up a question I brought up earlier, like the reason why we don't see them in the communities, like going out and doing community service and all those other things, like, is it because our main focus should be on those inside of the church?
Yeah.
These are the things that make me go,
Yeah.
Like, have we broadened our focus too far?
Yeah. Now, you know, I think that when you focus inwardly and you care for people in the church, that should always compel evangelism.
And that's the thing.
That's
like
the key.
Focus inwardly and it'll reflect outwardly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It makes sense to go that route.
We see that in Acts chapter 4, you know, verses 32 through 37. We also see that in 2 Corinthians 8, verses 1 through 5.
Yeah.
Can I read 2 Corinthians 8, right?
Yeah.
We want you to know, brothers, about the grace of God that has been given among the churches of Macedonia, for in a severe test of affliction their abundance of joy and their extreme poverty have overflowed in the wealth of generosity on their part. For they gave according to their means, as I can testify, and beyond their means of their own accord, begging us earnestly for the favor of taking part in the relief of the saints,
Right.
and this, not as we expected, but they gave themselves first to the Lord, and then by the will of God to us. Yeah, so right there. It's right there what you've been saying this whole time.